When you first lay eyes on someone, you have an idea of who they are. It's an automatic spark in your brain telling you to like or dislike them. Now, when I first come out on the stage, you had an idea of who I was if you don't know me already. You might have thought I looked boring or lame or maybe excited and energetic. I'll never know. One thing I do know is that you had absolutely no control over that automatic spark. It just happens. And I cannot control what you think of me. One thing I can control is helping you in those moments after that millisecond. So I hope that this talk will help you in doing so, in controlling your implicit bias. Now, what is bias? Bias is a prejudice in favor of or against one thing, person, or group compared with another, usually in an unfair way. There are so many different types of bias: statistical, contextual, explicit. My main focus today is going to be implicit bias, meaning when one has an attitude towards something or associates stereotypes with them without any conscious knowledge. So how can you control it? Well, I'll do my best to help. First off, let me explain how bias works in the brain. Starting from a young age, we learn to be biased towards things without even being aware of it. Toddlers see familiar groups and similarities all over the place. We give them toys to sort blocks into different groups or put those little toys into the slots. They seem like harmless toys that are doing nothing except teaching kids colors and shapes. But as the kids get older, that pile of red blocks in the corner becomes a group of people in society. As we get older, we sort ourselves into groups. By the age of 16, those groups are engraved into our minds. And the process continues into adulthood, where we use confirmation bias to see what we expect to see in the world. Anything that could change those views, we neglect and push aside. Altogether, we use the environment around us to make decisions on who to trust, how to think, and what to do. Now, because the environment changes as we grow, our eyes need to change as well, but it isn't so easy. So I want you to take a look at the blue dots and the pink dots. Does one seem bigger than the other, smaller? As soon as we have an expectation of something, we can't see it differently until proven differently. Now that you have a different perspective, a different environment, you're able to see that the pink dots, the environment, are the same size. No, are not the same size, the blue dots are. I explained how bias works in the brain, but how does it work in real life? Well, bias is all around us. At your workplace, your local stores, at school, and even the building we're in right now. About 6 months ago, I was at an after-school program with my mother, and she was supervising the kids, and there were two that were fighting over a basketball. She went over and took it away because it was causing too many problems. And the kid looked up at her and says that it was so gay of her to take the ball away. And the saying rolled off my shoulders because I had heard it so many times at school already. But it didn't roll off my mom's. She knelt down and looked the kid in the eye and said, "What do you mean by that?" She wasn't angry, her tone was genuine. And the kid stood there speechless, just like I was. On the car ride home, she broke down for me what bias was, and I've never seen the world the same since. I noticed so many biased things happen in the past months, and I've noticed things that happened in the past years that were actually biased and I didn't even know. For example, before COVID hit, I was at the mall with a group of friends and I was in the bathroom washing my hands. As I was scrubbing mine, I could hear my friend shuffling from sink to sink, so I asked what she was doing. She explained to me that the soap dispensers weren't working for her. I thought that maybe her hand was too close or too far away. But no, I tried it and it worked for me. It worked for my 3 other Caucasian friends, but not my Latina friend. At the time, we thought it was the funniest thing ever, saying the soap dispenser was racist and making all these jokes. 3 years later, I see that it wasn't the dispenser, but the company. When a company makes a product, they put their explicit or implicit bias into it. When this event reoccurred to me not too long ago, I did some research and found out that soap dispensers use skin pigment reflectants to work. The product is designed and tested by only a certain range of skin tones. So I guess that company decided that my friend was too dark to use their product. It's not just soap dispensers, however. These desks, they were designed by a right-handed person for a right-handed person. What if I were left-handed? And these crayons, yeah, in elementary school, I called them skin color. So did my teacher. The company even labeled them flesh. Now, I know that my little cousins, who are in 1st and 3rd grade, call the color peach, and I'm forever grateful for that. So now that you can identify what bias is in real life, which is great, but how can you help, and what can you do? Well, every little act of human helps. It can be small and local. Maybe if you hear someone say something biased, you can let them know, tell them that it's not right. And I know it can be hard to stand up to people. I've lost a friendship over telling someone that what they said was wrong. But we can do it. We can make an impact just by letting someone know. Explain to them why they shouldn't use that saying or do that thing. It will hopefully help them understand that there are other ways to describe something than gay or compare someone's fear reaction to a female. If we look around, we're able to see that there are people standing up in the face of hate. In North Carolina, a woman noticed that stereotypically, yoga is seen as an activity for people with skinnier, smaller bodies than hers. So, she started posting on social media to show that any body type, no matter how big or small, could do yoga. She inspired many people and shows body positivity. Even here in Wisconsin, after a white supremacist killed 6 people who followed Sikhism, the community of Oak Creek found inspiration and forgiveness in the faith and tradition. So, have movements like this changed the society? Well, Dr. Tessa Charlesworth has been collecting data on people's implicit bias, and the results are phenomenal. Between 2007 and 2020, implicit racial bias has decreased by 25%. Sexual orientation bias has dropped by a whopping 64% in the past 15 years. Scientists, like Charlesworth, aren't 100% sure why these biases are changing in these ways, but they believe it is due to the spread of social awareness, political, and social knowledge to the public. People are able to take their real-life stories and experiences and make a change. They're able to speak up. An easy way for you to help is just by educating others. Let them know what implicit bias is and how they can prevent it. Us as humans need to use our voice and create the ripple effect to teach others. So what are my hopes for the future? I want to work to undo and get rid of systematic injustice in my community. I want to make others curious and help them discover their role in experiencing bias. We as humans have accomplished so much already, and I know that we are going to continue to succeed. Even the littlest effort spreads to others. I hope that my children will be able to live in a world that has us all connected with others around us in a deeper level. So we can learn so much from people that we share this world with. Of course, I know that there is still so much that I have to do, not only to help others, but also change my own bias. But if I can make a change, if we can make a change, even if it's small, it will ripple and become so much more. I want to bring humanity back into human. Thank you.